Welcome back to Garrett's Garage. As you can see behind me, the BMW Z4 bumper is laying there. It's got one coat of base coat done. It's a water-based base coat, so you can't wet sand after the base coat has begun. I'm going to take some 1200 grit and very lightly go over it to make sure it's smooth and there's no dust or bugs or anything in the initial coat from last night. And then I'm going to do a second coat of base coat. Oh! I don't know if you can hear that wild skidding, but if you can, that's my wife coming back with the X5. She's a bit of a gearhead and likes to do burnouts. I don't even know why we get along. Anyway, my bumper here, I went ahead and did the dry sand on it with the 1200, and as often happens when you're retired, I forgot it was Saturday, and I need some more supplies, and the place isn't going to be open again until Monday, so I'm going to have to do something else. I know, we'll talk about painting a car a different way. We'll go back and maybe talk about painting with a brush. Or I can just introduce you to the X5. I bought this car about a year ago. I was looking for a manual transmission BMW with a V8. Obviously I found it because I have my 650 6-speed. But while I was looking for it, I kept coming across X5s with a V8. And they're really cheap. I paid less for this car, I've said it before. The original person who bought this car, I think it was probably north of $80,000 plus tax and license. I paid less than they paid just in tax and license. So I don't have very much invested in this thing. Whatever happens to it, it happens. I don't really care. The original plan was to cut the fender wells out, put gigantic tires on it, and make it the most ridiculous off-road X5 anybody's ever seen. But then I got it, and I drove it for a while, and I decided I really like it. It just is a wonderful driving car. So I really felt kind of bad about the idea of ruining it. So I decided to just ruin it a little bit. So I've kind of modified the outside. I made these really ridiculous looking tubular bumpers. I'll show you in 1 second. I put a winch on the front. I've got rock sliders on the sides. It's really dumb. And it makes it so BMW people kind of look at it like, and roll their eyes. The Jeep guys, they look at it and roll their eyes. But you know what? It really works pretty good off-road. I've off-roaded it several times. Watch. So it does remarkably well off-road. It's not a rock crawler. It's more of a mall crawler, but that's why we're here at the mall. Let me show you what the outside looks like. The interior is in remarkably good shape for as cheap as this car was. So I put the stupid rubber fender flares. I got these crazy noisy tires from the internet. They're the only ones that would actually fit. And my homemade bumper with my Harbor Freight 12,000 pound winch. So every BMW needs a winch, don't they? I made a roof rack, and of course you have to have made in China light bars, because why wouldn't you? There's my homemade rock sliders, and I put spacers to get the wheels, tires to stick out a little bit more. My terribly booger welded back bumper guard. All of the bumpers are made out of conduit. Simple, easy. I bought the conduit at Home Depot and got the pre-bent 90s And it all went together pretty quick and easy. My wife, bless her, she bought me this really cool Harbor Freight welder for Christmas, and this is the first thing I did with it. And hey, I'm not a very good welder, but I sure have fun. I think it came out okay. It was less destroying to this car than I was originally planning. I was originally planning on just really wrecking it, but yeah, there it is. I love this car. So let's go for a drive. Hold on to your hats. Of course, I took the mufflers off. It makes it sound so much better. I know that's my opinion. But my opinion's the only one that counts. Well, that's not true. So it does pretty good crawling through the malls, huh? Hell yeah. I'm not speeding. Using my blinkers. I did run that stop sign. It's a mall stop sign. You don't have to stop for mall stop signs, do you? Not sure. Yeah, this is an awfully nice car. Yeah. X5, baby. I don't know why some people say X5s are only good for ex-wives. I think X5s are awesome. You know, Top Gear totally slaughtered the X5. They did a whole thing, I guess it was actually maybe the X6. Might have been X5, I can't remember. But Jeremy is trying to beat up on BMW, and they take this X5 and they put it on wet grass and made it just slide around and said it was awful. And then they get in their British Land Rover and drive right up, no problem. And it's not true. This X5 is every bit as off-road capable as a Subaru Outback. I should know, I had one of those too. I know that's not saying a heck of a lot for off-road ability, but it's got a perfectly functional all-wheel drive system, and I've taken this thing off-road half a dozen different times, and it just does fine. I've never even had to bust out the winch cable, and I've taken it on some relatively sketchy roads. So Top Gear lied to us. I can't imagine how that could happen, but Top Gear lied to us. Bastards. So this thing, the tires, as you can probably hear, are hella loud. They don't help the handling characteristics either. The only place they're really good is in the mud or dirt off-road. So it was a huge trade-off to put these tires on. These tires ruin the car more than pretty much anything else I've done. But they're cool, and I don't care if they howl a little bit. My wife is just going to tear them up anyway. You heard her coming back from the grocery store. Peeling out. Well, there's maybe my future SL500. Yeah. This car is awesome. This is probably further off-road than most X5s ever make it. Yeah, I'm still in a parking lot. But at least it's not paved. So when I bought this car, it really didn't even need that much refurbishment. Usually when I buy these cars, they're just total pieces of garbage, all clapped out and just a mess. This was actually in pretty good condition. It only had one owner before. The original owner had kept the vehicle for the first 100,000 miles. They had it serviced religiously at the dealer. All of those records are, available. They took really good care of it. The exterior was in perfect shape. I couldn't find any signs where it had been repainted or repaired or crashed or anything. It was just in way too good a condition for what I initially had in store for it. Of course, now I still have a red brake light on the dashboard, but that's just because I haven't reset the little duration timer. So I just need to reset that by going through. I'll show you guys how to do that maybe some other day, not today. So I kind of like the red triangle of death every time I come in and start the car up. Reminds me I'm useful. Yeah. Oh, I guess I should turn here, huh? Yeah, there's no sneaking up on anybody in this big vehicle. I sure would like this thing better if it had the transmission from the 650i in here. Oh, this car would be so much more fun to me if it had that beautiful 6-speed. Oh, yeah. Seems like I introduce a pet here and there, so here we go. This is Ghostface Killer. Yeah, I'm kind of a Wu-Tang Clan fan, so Ghostface Killer, yeah. She's not really much of a killer. I can probably blame some of my audio problems on the cat that sits in my lap and chews on all of my wiring all the time. Stop it! I'm going to go right back to sleep now. You were just chewing on my wires. Stupid cat. Anyway, that's the X5, and I hope you enjoyed meeting my X5. See ya, Jim. Thanks for watching. Oops. Oh, sorry. And I'll work on this bumper more on Monday. I promise.